So I've been wanting to get into FPV for a long while now. The real FPV, where you're using a drone that you can control all on your own. You make a movement and it does that movement. Not the camera drone, like the DJI drone, where you don't have as much freedom and it's just to get the photography. I really want to have the freedom like the race drone, be able to mountain surf and have ultimate freedom, really. That's what I want. So I've gone ahead and watched a ton of videos on what to do and did a lot of research. And what everyone said is to start with a simulator. So what I chose for my simulator was the Velocidrone simulator. I just have a regular old laptop, and I don't want to download Steam. I don't have a high game processing chip in my computer. And so Velocidrone really met the requirements of not being a tech savvy game, really. And so that's the one I got. And then as far as the remote goes, I got the Beta FPV Express ELRS edition remote. The reason I did this was just because it was cheap, and previously I had done like fixed wing flying. Here, I'll show you real quick what I used to use. Okay, so this is what I used to use when I would fly fixed wings. I did like those flight test project builds where you just build them out of foam core. As you can tell, this thing is really taking its beating. That was like 5 years ago. Kind of stopped doing that. And I had this remote, the FlySky FS THX, what is it? The TH9X. And I thought this would be all I needed to start with the simulator. But for about 3 hours, I struggled to get this thing connected to the computer. They said like there was a FS simulator cable that would connect to this and then to the computer, and anything I did not work. And so unfortunately I was unable to use the remote that I have. And so when I was looking into buying my next radio, I said, that's it. I'm just gonna get one that connects to the computer, no problems, no more fiddling around for 3 hours, trying to get this radio connected. And so that's why I went the Beta FPV light radio. Now this one is the Express ELRS edition. And it's something to note about this, it only has Express ELRS edition in it. The other protocols don't work like in the same radio. You can have the external module for your remote, but it doesn't work all in one. So this only has Express ELRS. And so the reason I went with this, it looks like it's going to be the upcoming really protocol that everyone's going to use for long range. It's a lot cheaper than buying the TBS Crossfire. The Tango 2 is like $250. This one's $50 off Amazon. So super nice. And sure enough, when I plugged this thing into the computer, it just connected immediately. There was no fiddling around, no nothing. I just plugged it in, and the computer recognizes it. I was amazed. I had spent 3 hours on this one, and this one just connected instantly. So if you want a simulator controller, this one is the one to do it with. Is a controller that connects no problems at all. So again, went Express ELRS because sure, it's a beginner radio, but it'll work for a few months or whatever, If I were to do it again, I would probably get the Radio Master Zorro. That wasn't out when I started. I started about a month or two ago, back in December. And so this is the one I went with. It works great. So now we're gonna move over into the simulator. And I'm gonna pull that up here. And I'm gonna show you just a little bit of how far I've gotten, because this is part one of learning how to fly FPV. So I'm gonna pull it again here on Velocidrone, pull up single player. Oh, okay, the quad I made, this is Mr. Steele's quad. It's called the Little Bastard. He said this one is his favorite that he's used. Or should I say, this matches most realistically a real quad. And so this is what I've gone with. And let's just pull up a random map here and see what we can do. Velocidrone is great. They got tons of maps, race courses, huge maps. There's no boundary on the map really. So you do have a limit, like if you go above it, it'll like turn all fuzzy, but you can still fly. And so that is just great. I've just loved Velocidrone. And so here we are. This is in the city, and they got a cool little race course around here. It's pretty fun to fly. It was really tricky learning how to fly this for the first time. I was so confused. It was literally one of the hardest things to do ever. Like, you get those little toy ones from Walmart or whatever, and no, this is not even the same. You know, I was pretty proficient with those toy ones. I thought, oh, the transfer over to multi-rotor is going to be way easy. Not at all. It is not the same. I had flown, as you can see here, this is the boundary of the map. It just says please return. It doesn't kick you back. It doesn't force you back in. You can still fly. So I had flown fixed wings and like, you know, land right here. Like this thing right here, fixed wing. And I thought because of my experience, I was going to be better than what I turned out to be. Turns out this is a completely different field than anything I've done before. But it's really great. And playing, I think I've done like 20 hours in the simulator, something like that. I've gotten quite proficient, and it's just great. So anyway, that's where I'm at. This is part one of learning to fly FPV. So far, all I have is Velocidrone Simulator and the Beta FPV Express LRS remote. I'll see you in part two.